Shekoli, Narioliwas, Skanagoga, Skanago, Wakenyâhtâ ni Wakenyâhtâ, Onâyote ni Ukwehu ni Lukwe'tiyó ni yúkyats. And I just said in Oneida, greetings, what is the news? Are you with peace? I am with peace. I am Turtle Clan. I am people of the Standing Stone. I am Oneida. My Oneida name means he is a good man. It is an honor to be with you all today. My English name is Dr. Thomas James Reed. My nickname is TJ. It is a pleasure. It is an honor to be here with each and every one of you. So I want to go ahead and welcome you all here. So Julia, Kirsten, Chad, Taylor, Layla, Sarah, Kelly, Judith, Nathaniel, Darla, Ishugan, Aaron, Ping, Asada, Sarah, you all are human beings who are worthy of love. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, even though I don't know you all too well just yet. I really look forward to diving into this semester and getting to know one another. My class is very experiential. It's very much what you put into it. And as we are in this talking circle process is how we're going to be going about this process. As we are sharing with honesty and we're listening as intently as we are when we're speaking, but I'm just truly grateful for each and every one of you, whatever the circumstances are that brought you here to this place right here, right now, this is where you're supposed to be, and you are who you're supposed to be. So I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Yes, you are a human being who is worthy of love. So let's get into it. It's going to be a phenomenal semester. Welcome to Restorative Justice in Indigenous Communities. I'll be your host along the way, guiding us here over our 7-week journey. So let's go ahead and take a look at our syllabus, just to take a quick overview of things. Then we'll go into things a little bit more detailed just a quick overview of where we're going with the whole semester in terms of concepts of what you can expect. And lastly, a little bit about me, and then just to pass the baton to you all as giving you some prompts for our first week of different responses for our group meet chat, for just introducing all of yourselves. And then also you can look at the activities, the things to read, and the videos to watch. So that being said, we're July 11th to August 28th here, an asynchronous class. You can find me on office hours from 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and by appointment. So if that does not work for you, 3 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for a Zoom meeting for office hours, then I could totally meet some other time, and I would love to meet with you and speak with you. If it's by email, I try to respond within 48 to 72 hours or earlier, generally speaking, and I'm here for you. I'm on your team. I want you to succeed. I'm a resource and I'm in your corner. So that being said, about our syllabus, overall, just so you know, you can read this more into detail. It's up on Canvas for our class as well too. A lot of it's participation, so being sure that you are being active, watching all the videos, doing all the readings, and then being active in our group meet each week, whether that's on your smart device or your computer, or that is making sure that you have your each week there'll be 7 responses for each week, one response per week. And that is a big part of your participation, is really letting us know where are you with the material. You don't have to agree with everything I say, everything someone else in the class says, but I want to know why you believe what you believe. And respect and sharing are names of the game in my class as well too. So we'll be respecting and sharing one another in this process. So participation is key. Be sure you're participating, respecting, sharing, doing your thing. Final presentation. This is going to be a big one as well too. It's going to be a 7 to 10 minute recorded presentation. It's due by August 26th, the Friday, 11:59 p.m. I really want this to be honed into areas of your either expertise or areas what you're passionate about. We're going to share about a lot of different things here, just going to go over a lot of different topics. And I want you to do things that stood out to you, that align with your own heart, with your own spirit, things that you feel convicted to share upon. That's probably a good topic to share about. And I want you all to be speaking, and again, listening as intently as you are when you're speaking. So watching everyone else's videos as well too, after they're done. And then at 30% of it is a 1-page infographic on what you learned in this class. This can be, if you are a writer, it can be 1-page minimum writing. You can write more if you want to, but really more of a summary and abstract. If you are an artist, you could draw, you could paint something. If you are good with digital media, you could create some kind of graphic image or graphic design. You could create some kind of hybrid of using canva.com and using an infographic with words and bullet points or different things. Really, it's hard to go wrong in this assignment. Creativity is key. I just want it to be really a summary and some kind of piece that you can come back to throughout your work, that you're going to remember. What was the 7 weeks like? What was that experience like? What did we learn about? What were things that I don't want to forget about, just to remember throughout this process as well too. So I want you all to think about that. So that's going to be your grade right there. A big rundown of that. And again, it's what you put into it. And I really hope you're going to get more than just a grade out of this, but this is an experience that will really change you for the better. And I'm a lifelong learner, so I really do hope to learn from you this semester as well too. I'm planning on it. So thank you for being here. Yawanko, thanks in Oneida. So some required text: Navajo Nation peacemaking, living in traditional justice, going to be a key one right there. So we learn about the Dene, which is another word for the Navajo, which means the Dene means the people. We'll learn about Chief Justice Robert Yazzie and many other people as well too, which we talk about this oftentimes in our current criminal justice system. It's what's called a vertical system with a judge on top, and it's very not personal. You're trying to be distant from different people. You don't want to know about the people. This notion of justice being blind. However, restorative justice, particularly for the Dene people, is putting it in a horizontal structure, as Chief Justice Robert Yazzie would say it, that we're using the community to address the harms, the needs, the recommendations moving forward. And they even put their court in a more of a circle format, as opposed to what we have in our Western paradigm of the court in rows, but putting that in a circle to have the community's voice being a part of that. So there's many other things. There's this notion of, you'll hear this idea that that person acts as if they have no relatives. And that's one of the biggest insults that somebody could say to somebody in the Dene culture, from Chief Justice Robert Yazzie and from other restorative justice practitioners you'll read in that book. And they're talking about this notion that that if you were to be told this person, if you hear this saying, this person acts as if they have no relatives, this would be a major insult, because we are all relatives. We are all related. We are all connected. And that's a deep truth. And something that's very, very powerful, very personal for me as well too, but especially in restorative justice. So reckoning that we are all relatives, and whether you're learning about that in Indigenous communities, whether you are an Indigenous person, you're not an Indigenous person, whether you're working in Indigenous communities or you're not. I just hope you recognize that concept, that we are all related, and take that into your own work in restorative justice as well too, that we are all related, we are all connected. Justice is Healing. I really like this book as well too. Indigenous Ways, Writing on Community Peacemaking and Restorative Justice from the Native Law Center. A great different collection of different authors and different ideas looking at restorative justice in different communities. A very impressive collection of different stories and different experts and practitioners. So I'd highly recommend this book, as they are required text as well too. So I would get it and they are good. Course YouTube playlist going to be referring to, as you're watching this video now, will be up on the playlist. There'll be 6 more videos throughout the week that I'll be making throughout the semester for you in real time as we go. This is our course GroupMe, as you saw that up on our canvas as well too. So this is an overview of where we're going this week. You can always see in our syllabus of what you're expected to be doing, what the topic is, what the videos are to watch here, and then what your action items are. So in this first one right here, I would like for you all, if you could, to create a 2 to 5 minute introduction video of yourself, of who you are, what you hope to get out of this class, and one thing we should know about you. So that's going to be your introduction as well to one of your assignments on top of your response to week 1. Your option instead is to create a 5 to 10 sentence write-up. So if you're really not comfortable with the technology, or if you're really not comfortable with sharing yourself, different things, that's okay. Hey, we would love to get to know you through your writing voice as well too. That's a great way to connect here in this academic, in this spiritual, in this container that we're creating together. So you can also respond for the readings with either a 5 to 10 sentence write-up or a video of approximately 2 to 5 minutes for what we're doing for the videos is for your week 1 responses. So for throughout the week, if you feel more comfortable in the oral tradition, then feel free to speak and record a video of yourself, or even an audio recording of yourself. Or if you want to just do a type up each week, that's what you're expected to do throughout each week. Your response for each week is to either do a 5 to 10 sentence write-up or a 2 to 5 minutes video. And you have that for this just week 1, you have that extra introduce yourself video, but for the rest, you're going to be expected to do those different videos as well too, your response to and reactions, thoughts, or critiques. And then also throughout the week, you're going to be responding on GroupMe about once a week to a different prompt that I'll be giving you. So will be a short one. Sometimes it'll just be a picture of something that you're sharing throughout the week to share with us. Sometimes it will be just a quick short, maybe 2 to 4 sentences or so in the GroupMe as well too. But be on the checkout for that. Either have that, if you can download it to your phone, if that works, or if you can have it on a smart device, or just checking it out on your computer, whatever works for you. But it's called WhatsApp. We'll be going through there. So each week, just be sure to do the work. I'll be doing videos each week to go more in depth on what these are as we go. It brings us all the way to our final as well too. And that's when that final recording, that 7 to 10 minute, is due on August 26th. 11:59 p.m. on that Friday. That 1-page infographic due on Friday, August 26th as well too. So just about 7 weeks from now. And that is an overview of the class. Some of the concepts that I want us to cover right here, or that I plan for us to talk about as we're going through the semester, would be as follows, as I bring us here to the top of this. So for this one right here, some of the overview, describing the theoretical underpinnings. We talked about this a little bit of this instead of a vertical system, it's a horizontal system for the Dene people, and as well looking at this people as relatives. And if you act as if you have no relatives, this would be one of the worst things you could do in a community. This notion of legal pluralism is noting this notion of overlapping different forms of government. So I'm currently here in Southern California. I'm living in the city of Rancho Cucamonga, which is in the county of San Bernardino, which is in the state of California, which is in the United States. For instance, if we're working in tribal communities, whenever I'm going back home to my tribal community in Oneida, Wisconsin, that is on its tribal territory. However, the legal pluralism is noting whose sovereignty is on top, or whose jurisdiction is being abided by within that certain framework. So for example, a lot of times we're learning about pluralism. If something is to happen on tribal lands, if it's in Oneida, Wisconsin, on my family's tribal nation, right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin, it's who has sovereignty there, right? Is this the Oneida Nation? Is this the city of Hobart right next to us? Is this going to be the state of Wisconsin that's trying to have sovereignty? United States as well too. We have had different recent court cases, particularly one that was recently overturned, McGirt versus Oklahoma, which the details of that case we'll get into as well too, is talking about how now the federal government has more jurisdiction on tribal lands to prosecute non-native peoples on native lands. But what I'm trying to say here is the notion of pluralism is looking at who has sovereignty when there's different jurisdictions, whether that's the tribal, the county, the state, and the federal government as well too. So legal pluralism are those overlapping governments, and particularly when it comes to native peoples, is if we are recognized in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 3, the Indian Commerce Clause, it recognizes that the federal government is to interact with tribal governments the same way as it does with states and international entities. So legal pluralism is looking at whose sovereignty is being held as the highest, what laws are being regarded, whether that's from the different jurisdictions. The legal status of Indigenous governments in the United States, it's supposed to be a government-to-government status from this Self-Determination Act from the early 1970s. And it's this notion that we as Native people I'm a dual citizen, that I have a citizen of the United States, but I'm also a citizen of the Oneida Nation as well too. And those were some of the ideas that we'll get into more throughout the semester. Indigenous restorative justice systems. Each tribe is different. So when we talk a little bit about ours right here, so my tribe, I'm a member of the Oneida Nation. I was taught talking circles by my grandmother. My grandmother is an elder in the Oneida Nation. Shout out to Eleanor Bailey. Love you very much, Grandma. We're working on writing a book together right now, which is very exciting. So she taught me talking circles with an eagle feather. It's a very sacred object, can never touch the ground. And whoever is holding the eagle feather cannot tell a lie. And everyone is listening as intently as you are when you're speaking. The eagle is a liaison between us and the spirit world. It's the highest, it's between us and the creator. Very special. If the eagle feather is to ever touch the ground, it has to be picked up, or it's supposed to be picked up by a native person who's a veteran of a foreign war, who will then dance at the feather from all four directions as they're going into the spirit world to see if it is safe to pick up that feather. So as we do this here carefully, we will be using this eagle feather right here. This one my grandma gave me after I graduated from my master's, and she gave me after I graduated from, before that, my undergraduate, and after that, my PhD. But looking here at as we're sharing this, very sacred. So as we're sharing throughout the restorative justice throughout this whole 7 weeks, I want it to be in a circle format. I want us to be in that circle mindset of sharing from your heart space, your head space, your spirit, just to be honest and to speak your truth, and to recognize that we're going to try to suspend our judgment and try to really listen to understand each other's stories. This is one of my cousin, Eddie Cornelius Grosp. She taught me, she said that TJ says that when you teach someone empathy, when you give someone the ability to see the world through someone else's eyes, you change their life. So that's the idea here, to be able to have empathy, to hear each other's stories. So we also use that restorative justice in my family to combat intergenerational trauma with intergenerational resiliency. As my great grandfather was forced to attend Carlisle Indian Boarding School, where the motto was to kill the Indian to save the man. We'll talk more about that unfortunate atrocity as we go throughout the semester. We'll also learn about the healing and resiliency that has come of it, and particularly through talking circles and restorative justice. That's how my family has got a lot of healing, to be able to talk about some really horrific things and have the space for that. So we talked a bit about the Dene people and the peacemaking process. We will later as well. Examples of Indigenous restorative justice systems, how they deliver justice to Indigenous communities. Each community is different, but we'll look at some different examples here throughout. looking at the Navajo legal system incorporates the traditional Navajo customary law, using the example of the Peacemaker Court, which we talked about. Indigenous customary law protects Indigenous culture. Explain and analyze the potential of the Oceti, Sakawan, Onâyote truth and reconciliation process in South Dakota. 2 models of restorative justice implemented by external authorities, looking at different proclamations or acts of Congress. Positive attributes and shortcomings of an external restorative justice model when it's put in externally as opposed to put forth internally. Compare the efficacy of internal and external restorative justice approach using the bear ears and Hawaii examples and internal models from previous modules. So we're also going to be looking here at Indigenous restorative justice approach and similarities and differences with at least 3 different RJ models from previous modules, looking at the structural features of a selected RJ model or approach, looking at what that looks like, how that approach works and whether it's enforced through a tribal court or some other authority or not. And really quickly, for my approach, how I was taught, oftentimes you would start with a prayer or a song that is oftentimes led by an elder, preferably a female elder, as they have the ability to give life as females do, as we're here on Mother Earth. Usually some kind of song or something to get us started. You'd usually be holding an eagle feather and passing it to the left and going as well too. Oftentimes be using community. So we just going through different questions. If we were to go through a situation, we might talk about the harms, the needs, and then the recommendations we would have if a conflict was to arise. But every different communities are different. We look at different examples in Hawaii. They talk about ho'oponopono, these activities where people talk about where you'd say, I'm sorry, thank you, please forgive, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And just different features. One of my friends and colleagues who is from Hawaii and is Hawaiian talks about when they had these ho'oponopono built into their school curriculum and how they would use this restorative justice model within their own school set. And we're going to also look at this reading here, which I put together with a critical review of the Native American tradition of circle practices. It's a book chapter that I had published. You all will take a look at that as well too, and looking at the different approaches from different tribes and how they came to look at talking circles. Our YouTube playlist right here as well too. On the bottom, you can see here, I'll be using this throughout the semester as well. I want you all to know what land you're on currently. So if you're at Vermont Law School, traditional Haudenosaunee and I believe Abenaki land, and I'm out here on Tongva land, Gabrielino Tongva land, also close to the Chumash territory out here as well too. But I would encourage you all to look up this website if you haven't already. If you can look at change.org as well too. You can look at, I've created a co-stewardship for all state and national parks with Indigenous tribal nations with the people from local areas in terms of what is that land back? What does restoration look like through giving land back? So we'll talk about that throughout the semester as well too. And lastly, just going to do a quick little one about myself here. So as I bring up this last little quick slideshow, I just want y'all to know a little bit about me. So I gave you my Oneida introduction before. It's a picture of me in the top middle with my grandmother on to our right, and then to our left is my cousin Norma. They help make all my regalia. It has all this meaning that I am Turtle Clan, so I have all the turtles on it. The Haudenosaunee here. This is the symbol of the 6 nations of the Haudenosaunee. Once warring tribes came together in 1142 AD, and how use a form of restorative justice, how use a form of talking circles to still make decisions in the longest running democracy in the world, to my understanding, continuously since 1142, and still happen to this day, where they meet in Onondaga in upstate New York at the to make different decisions in their longhouse there. So that being said, I have my ribbon shirt and the ribbons coming off at our prayers as well too. So more about me, I'm also English, Irish, and German. And then, like I said, I'm an enrolled member of the Native American tribal nation of the Oneida, being a dual citizen. My Oneida name being he is a good man, Lukwe'tiyó. My pronouns are he, him, his. I have a wife named Julia. She's right here. She is half Syrian and half Mexican American, is a wonderful human being and one of my favorite people in the entire universe. So pictures of us here. Our babies, our children, just 2 dogs right now. And this is Sydney Momo. She's a little Maltese and poodle, like Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender, if anyone knows the reference. And then little Millie, like Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas, if anyone knows the reference. But anyways, those are our pups. A little bit about me. Education, I grew up moved around a lot, but I went to high school in Foothill High School in Santa Ana, California. Go Knights, whoop, whoop. Graduated 2008. Pepperdine University in Malibu, California. Studied communication with an emphasis in rhetoric and leadership. Ended up dropping out of school twice, finished 3rd time's a charm, graduated in 2012. Went to George Washington University for a Native American political leadership program in 2014. Got my master's from the Beach, Go Beach, Cal State Long Beach, AKA Cal State Pavungna, which is the Tongva Gabrielino word for the great gathering place. It's part of their creation story for the Tongva people. That university is where it's located at. But I got a master in public administration, certificate in American Indian Studies, graduated 2016, and then got my PhD in leadership and organizational consulting from University of San Diego. And that was in April of 2021, which brings us to currently for my career here. I am now an assistant professor in American Indian Studies at Cal State Long Beach. It's a great honor to be doing that. Trainer at the National Center on Restorative Justice at University of San Diego. We're going to train other people at different universities and just open enrollments, different community members and people. We're trying to use this alternative dispute resolution, trying to use this community building to create a better world for 7 generations to come. I'm also teaching here restorative justice in Indigenous communities at Vermont Law School. This is my 3rd time around doing it. I'm loving it. Restorative justice practitioner. I've been doing it for a bit, just doing it in different communities and going across the country and doing it in different communities, whether there's problems arise or for community building. I'm also a program manager for the Haudenosaunee National Development Team for lacrosse, formerly called the Iroquois. It's the French word. We're reclaiming it and calling ourselves the Haudenosaunee, which is our own word, meaning the people of the Longhouse. And I'm also teaching a sports and leadership class for master's students at University of San Diego. Some dreams here. I would love to help free Leonard Peltier from imprisonment. He's a political prisoner. If you don't know, he's been in there for, I believe, for 47 years. It's 1975, and he is in prison for a crime which he did not commit. And we know he did not commit, yet he is still in there anyway. So many would consider him to be one of the longest running political prisoners that we have here in the United States. And I would certainly, that'd be a dream. If I ever had the power to pardon Leonard Peltier, I would certainly do so. I would love someday, I've ran for different office in the past. I've served different office as a neighborhood city councilman when I was younger. It's like a step down from city council, but I would love in the future to be mayor, ideally mayor of Tustin, California. That's where I grew up at. I'd love to be a congressperson there in Southern California. I'd love to be a senator of California, ideally. I'd love to be a president of the United States someday and to enact legislative change for the greatest good for the greatest amount of people. I really do believe that everything that we're doing, it's because of 7 generations before us, giving us the ability to live in the way that we're doing, and that everything that we do, we want to live in a way that's for 7 generations ahead of us as well, too, that allows them to live in a better life. And just to help heal our world, as in case you didn't know, it feels like it's burning, but I want it to heal, and I want it to do it with love. And I believe we can. I really do. I got a vision of it. I think we can do it. For fun, I like to have fun. You got to take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So we like to have some fun here. So I do like to play video games. I'm currently working on what started as a book chapter, has turned into a book on Native representation in video games, going from some of the early days from Atari and different things, going all the way through here to the newest gaming systems. These are the ones I like to play a lot, are the PlayStation 4, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo. You can catch me playing those a lot. I love graphic novels, aka some comic books. Some of my favorites, Watchmen. Also, I'm currently writing a book on Native representation in graphic novels. So also I'm really into what are the good, bad, ugly, how can we do this well? What are some examples of Native authors really reclaiming this space as well too, being able to use storytelling in this particular medium. I love it. I do love it. I love board sports. Got to protect the noggin, so I've gotta be safe out there, but do love skateboarding, snowboarding, surfing, wakeboarding, things of that nature. If it has a board, I definitely tend to like it. Lacrosse with my traditional hickory stick. I love lacrosse. I like to have my lacrosse stick next to me when I'm also a sports broadcaster. I got a game I'm about to go to tonight for broadcasting for lacrosse. If I don't have my big one on me, I like to have this little miniature one on me. These hickory sticks are really important. My great grandfather, he attended Carlisle Indian School and he used to make wooden lacrosse sticks. So I like to keep using one. So big fan of that as well too. And as we have our little digital talking space here, things you like to put in the middle of in our centerpiece here, got some Oneida grown tobacco. And this is to ask for thanks. This is to ask for guidance. And this is just a powerful tool here, the traditional Oneida tobacco. And also we have Oneida grown sage right here. And this is to ward off negativity. So putting these here in the middle of our centerpiece here of our talking circle. Really, really passionate about language, not only the Oneida language, English language, Irish language, German language, also like learning about Arabic, Spanish. I'm trying to learn some French, American Sign Language. I just love languages. And I love the more I learn, the more I realize like, wow, we're just all so connected. And it's such a beautiful way of expressing ourselves. I love learning about different cultures. I love my own culture and I love sharing and mutual exchange of reciprocity with other people, not viewing myself any better or any worse, but being rooted in who I am as an English, Irish, German, Oneida person and being able to share about culture and learn culture from other people. I love culture. I love movies. I love TV. I love music. One of my favorite movies is The Arrival. My favorite TV shows is not The Arrival, just Arrival. One of my favorite TV shows is Avatar: The Last Airbender. And music, I like Drake. I like hip hop, but it depends on my mood, but definitely a huge Drake fan. I like to play the drums, whether that's like the traditional hand drum, and I also like to play modern drums as well too. Love to meditate, love to do yoga, love to open up my chakras, love to be one and be connected with all things. We're all connected with all things and get that cosmic energy. And now it's your turn, people. So in your videos, your 2 to 5 minute videos, you're going to put up here onto Canvas here. Just share your name. What's your preferred name? What do you like to go by? Something we should know about you and what you hope to get out of this class. So that's it. The one on group me is going to be talking about who are you in relation to other living things. I'll show you how to do that. I'll give you a quick model as we go through in that talking circle. But just want to say, Yawanko Ganalunqua Nuyiwa means thank you. I love you. Until next time in Oneida. I once heard it said by DJ Felly Fell growing up listening to this hip hop radio station here in Southern California. He would always say, if ain't nobody loves you, DJ Felly Fell loves you. And I say, if ain't nobody loves you, Dr. Reed loves you. So keep taking care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We're going to have a wonderful 7 weeks together. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me and tell me. This class is whatever we co-create. And you, yes, you are a human being who is worthy of love. So Yawanko Ganalunqua Nuyiwa. Take care, class. Until next time, all the best.